Lian Li has been in the business for a very long time, and we all know that they have excellent aluminum cases back then, and nowadays they have the ever so popular fish tank cases nowadays, which you can now see every single brand has it. Anyway, what we have here today is a brand new fans from Lian Li, which is the Lian Li TL wireless fans. So UNI FAN is actually not new. The entire series, they started with the UNI FAN SL and then TL. And then what makes this unique is the wireless features. And how can you make a fan wireless? So let's have a brief understanding how a fan should work. So the unique part of the UNI FAN is that they have this daisy chainable fan design. If you look at the fan itself, they have no cables coming out from the fan directly. And how you connect the fan to your system is basically through a special connector. What the TL wireless do is that instead of you will have to have 4-pin fan header and a dedicated ARGB connector, they simplify it whereby you can set up the fan by just a single cable, just like this one right here. Now, because we have two different products with us, so I'm just going to start with the simpler product first, which is this is the TL wireless 120, the non-LCD version. So there's no LCD at the front, it's just a simple fan. This is the reverse blade edition, which is you can use it as an intake fan, and you can still showcase the fan blades at the front without having to show the back of the fan here. And you just have to connect to a single cable, which is this cable that connects to the 4-pin connector that supply power to the fan. And then all the communication is done through a wireless dongle. So let me show the wireless dongle. So this is the wireless dongle that there are two different ways for you to connect to the motherboard. You can either use the USB type A port here, or they have a separate cables that connects to the motherboard through the 4-pin PWM header, and another one which is a special cable, which is one for USB A and another header for the 4-pin PWM. With that cable, you can communicate to all of your UNI FAN TL wireless in your system without having need a fan hub. Usually you have a fan hub, you will need to connect a lot of cables to the fan hub. Imagine if you got two sets of fans, and then every single fan you will need to connect to the hub with the 4-pin fan header, ARGB cable. You can imagine the mess. If you have just 9 fans, in total you got at least 19 to 20 cables you will need to handle. So in this case right here, because the UNI FAN, they are connected in daisy chain, that means a single set of fan like this, you will have only one cable, which is this 4-pin cable, connect to your SATA power cable. And then this dongle is connected directly to your motherboard, and you can hide it just behind your cable management storage area, and your fan system is already configured. And all the PWM information is transmitted from this transmitter itself. If you look closely, this is actually a transmitter. It communicates with this dongle wirelessly, and the dongle will tell the software, they will know, okay, what is the fan speed? And they can also configure the ARGB on the fan itself, all without having the need of a messy fan hub. And when we bring this concept into a different type of product, which is basically under the same family, this is the UNI FAN TL wireless LCD. As the name suggests, they have LCD screen at the front of the fan. The center bearing of the fan is slightly designed so that the display stays in place. so that it doesn't spin following the fan. And here things are getting a little bit more complicated. So instead of a single cable, since the display requires power as well, they will have a separate cable coming out from the fan. So the separate cable is connected to the USB 2 connector on the motherboard itself. That is enough to supply the power for the LCD displays. Again, all the fan operations information is communicated through the transmitter to the receiver of the fan, including all your systems, because I already disconnected the transmitter, so the software is not working. Again, same concept. When you have two different cables coming out from this set of 3 fans, you basically just need to make sure the fan is powered, the LCD is powered, and then you just need to hide the transmitter at the back of your motherboard. Then you can communicate to the fans through this L-Connect 3 software. And this is the part that makes everything unique and easy to deal with. So let's dive into the L-Connect 3 software. So once you have everything connected to the system, the first thing you will need to do is to synchronize your wireless receiver and transmitter. Since now I have 2 receivers in the system, one for the LCD and the other one for the reverse blade fans, you can see we have 2 different controller ID in sync right now. If you're in the future trying to buy more fans for your system, you can add in later on. From what I can see here, they show is like 2 out of 10. Maybe that means that they can only support up to 10 receiver as of now, but we don't know about all this, because there are actually, if you want to know more about the rest of the limitations, there are some rules you will need to follow if you want to play with the UNI FAN system. For example, like the LCD version, you can only connect up to 3 fans at once. If you want to buy a standalone LCD version and connect as a 4th fan, the LCD will not work. So do take note of this. You have to go to their website and read all the fine prints to understand how you can customize these fans for your system. So once you have the wireless sync setup completed, you will now go to configure all the settings for the fans, such as your fan and pump profiles. If, like I mentioned just now, there are 2 ways for you to connect the transmitter. If you connect the transmitter to the motherboard USB ports, then you will not be able to synchronize the fan with the motherboard, because if you want to do the fan speed synchronization through the motherboard, you will have to go through the motherboard connector headers, which is the cable itself. So if I just turn it on, then now all the fan speed is managed by the motherboard. So you can see here. So if I don't synchronize, doesn't matter, they have all the fan profiles available in the system. You can set it as the, let's say, full speed, or even like on quiet. Just make sure you remember to press apply to all, so that it will save the profile to the fans. Now as for the lighting setup, this is literally the easiest one you can understand, which is all the lighting effects is available here. Then you can set the speed and even set the brightness from the interface. Since Lian Li has multiple different types of fans such as SL or AL, so you have to make sure your fan systems, the configuration is done through the exact fan you have with the system. So the lighting is fairly easy to understand, and that is the same goes for the L wireless fan utility. From here you can set up all the different lighting sequence, because sometimes for those who trying to make their system look fancy, they would maybe purchase a full set of the UNI fan for their system. Let's say they have 9 fans in total. So from here they can configure everything, all the light sequence settings. For example, like how to synchronize the fan position so that they can achieve the kind of effect they wanted. Otherwise, what is the most important? This page is for the LCD configuration. Right now you can see I have all the LCD set up with a custom GIF. So all of these can be done through the L wireless fan utility here. Just make sure to click on the LCD screen on the fan itself, and then you will be able to configure different dynamic effects if you want to. There are picture, dynamic GIF, video, sensor, or animation. Animation is like a preset. I'm not too sure how to add more animation here, but right now we can only see 2 different animations preloaded in the L Connect 3 software. Of course, if you have your own preferred animation, you can always customize it using GIF or MP4 video. So as you can see from the MP4 here video, you can add your own video by uploading your own MP4, and they also have an editor for you to do some editing so that it fits into the screen nicely. And they also do screen capture. That is very nice of them to have a basic editing function in the L Connect 3. Right now, I prefer to use GIF because this is much more easier. I can download my favorite animation snippets, and then I can just like add it right into here. Of course, you will need to rotate accordingly because sometimes different users, they have different fan orientation and configuration for their system. So once you add, then they will synchronize directly to the display. The display is very smooth because it is a LCD with 60Hz refresh rate. So that is really nice for a display here. So I think that's all you will probably need to know about the Lian Li UNI FAN wireless series. So what makes them unique again is the wireless functionality. At first, I never really understand what is the concept behind the wireless and why would you need it. But then after building a simple mock-up like this, I sort of understand there is a selling point for the wireless, because if you have been building PCs, you will know that if you want a RGB in your system, you will have to deal with a lot of cables. So back then, we know every single fans, they have their own cables. One for the ARGB and one for the fan. So with just take 9 fans in the system as an example, you already know that is minimum 18 cables. And then we haven't even factored in if you have a fan hub. Fan hub will you need a SATA power for it. And then the fan hub will need to connect to the motherboard ARGB connector. And the fan hub also need to connect to the motherboard's 4-pin PWM header. So that is 18 plus 3, total of 21 cables to manage. But if you use the UNI FAN TL wireless, let's do the math here. If you group them in 3 fans in a group, so in total you got 3 groups. Let's imagine you got 3 groups here. Every single group, let's say one of the group is LCD, they got 2 cables coming out. The second group, non-LCD, 1 cable, 1 cable. That is only 4 cables. And then my transmitter, another 2 cables. That is total of 6 cables. Just imagine 6 cables compared with 21 cables. That is a huge cut down in terms of cable management. And then remember, you don't have to find a way, think of a way, how can you connect all the fans to the fan hub. And when you position the fan hub at the back of your motherboard tray, you can imagine the mess you have to deal with. So at the end of the day, the main selling point of the TL wireless is all about making your life easier when it comes to the cable management. Of course, we all know Lian Li UNI FAN series is usually priced at a premium price. That's the same for the new TL wireless series as well. So this is really for those who appreciate a good design fans like this, and they don't want to deal with all the cable mess. So yes, then the price should justify what you are getting from there on. But if you are not looking for a wireless system and you are in doubt, then perhaps you can still choose their standard UNI FAN series, like they still have the UNI FAN SL TL series, the non-wireless version. Those are still a very good fans because again, they are daisy chainable. That alone already save up a lot of your cable mess from there on. So I think that's all I want to share with you about the new Lian Li TL wireless fans. I mean, right now we only got like 2 models right here because they have a lot more models available. For example, this is 120. They also got 140mm version. This is reverse blade. They also got the standard blade version. So black and white also, there is a lot of different SKUs out there. You can buy as a standalone unit, like this one. They sold separately individual units, or you can also buy like a combo setup. A combo setup includes a transmitter and a receiver, something like this. So as for the standalone ones, remember, standalone ones do not include the transmitter. So you will have to plan your setup ahead. Again, that's way too much of here. If you want to know about the fan performance, everything, perhaps you need to look for other YouTubers. They will talk more about that. In this video, we just talk about the features and quirks. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.